All right, recording. Welcome.
Beautiful.
So welcome to another MindFit live Q&A. We've moved to live Q&A on Thursday this week, so there isn't anyone joining us on the line, but we've been grateful enough to be joined by wonderful Zack, who's in the office today. So welcome, Zack. How are you going?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you going?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm a bit tired today.
Yeah.
It's a bit exhausting coming out of lockdown.
Yeah, it is.
So we've got Zack in here today. Those may have seen in an email a few weeks ago that Zack's had a fairly challenging couple of years. We'll say challenging, is probably the right word. I think it's the most productive word. And we're going to probably discuss a little bit about that today and his mindset and his strengths and what sort of got him through a lot of his challenges over the last couple of years. So just to paint a little bit of a picture, there's an autoimmune disease, some mental health struggles, and then cancer. And then to top all of that, there was a spider bite a month ago, which for normal people is usually pretty bad, but for you it was next level. It was next level. So I guess the first question I'll ask is, well, I won't ask you that. I was going to ask you how you're 25 years old. You live around the peninsula. Yep. Yeah. Do you need something?
All right, everyone.
That was Nick. I think you probably wanted me to go into session essentially, but that's okay. So 25, live on the peninsula. I guess tell me a little bit and just sort of paint a picture of the type of person you were growing up, sport, work, all that kind of stuff.
I've always lived local. My parents broke up when I was 12 years old, so kind of took the father role when I was 12 years old, look after me. I've got an older brother and a sister, younger sister. So that was kind of my role in my teenage years, to look after mum. And then always played local footy, but I started off with soccer, played Victorian sides and stuff like that, but got talked in my mates to play footy, men's sport, that's what they called it. So did that, always played cricket as well, so I played all sports. And then kind of gave cricket up to drink with me mates because it was early Saturday morning, so gave up that career and just stuck with footy and did pretty well with footy, under 18s best and fairest, stuff like that. Played in a grand final in the seniors, first year out of 18, full back. And I got me ankylosing spondylitis, my autoimmune disease.
Say that again, because when you first said that to me, I was like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, it took me a while to pronounce it.
Ankylosing spondylitis?
Ankylosing
spondylitis.
I've had to say it a few times to try and get it right.
Yeah, I won't get it right. So, but hopefully the watchers might put this on pause and go, right, what is that? Because I think I didn't really know what it was either. I had to look it up.
It's pretty much just inflammation of your blood. So depending on what you're eating and your lifestyle, it really affects flare-ups. So I always got pain in my lower back, which affected, I don't know, working, playing footy. So I kind of had to stop. I did 2 years in the seniors and then had to stop really footy because it affected my running and the pain and everything. So I went to the doctors and I went from one scan to another and then found out I had that. So been dealing with that, seeing naturopaths and everything for a couple of years, try to get my diet right so it's less of a chance of a flare-up. And unfortunately last year I had a flare-up that went through most of my body and it stopped me from walking for 8 months and ended up in hospital and draining fluid, and it was very challenging because kind of dreaded waking up because the pain was that bad. Like it wasn't really worth waking up kind of thing. Like it just hurt so much. So it wasn't in a good way. So Dad done myotherapy where Nick had his little back room where he did MindFit. So Dad booked me in there for my mental health. and that really changed my life.
So before we step into that, how did you see your mental health? Like, did you think you could help? Did you understand what was happening? What was going? And even day to day, like you said, you didn't want to wake up. Like that's. I guess you're going through a lot of physical ailments. There's a lot of people out there who might be watching who might have those thoughts from time to time.
Yeah, yeah, it was just the pain was just that unbearable. I just thought like it'd be easier not to be here because then I'm not in pain, which is a pretty bad thing. But I didn't really realise my thinking and my mental health until obviously people that I love who see it and picked up on it. So that's when Dad booked me in.
What was did you have any fears about coming to that first session with Nick, or did you want to be there, or what was your mindset?
I was a bit iffy at the start because when Mum and Dad split up, went to some psychologists and stuff, and it just wasn't me. Like it was like kind of like I felt like it was a computer telling you how to feel, not teaching you how to feel good, yeah, kind of thing. So it just never worked for me. So I did like 2 sessions with a psychologist and never went back. So first coming in, I was a bit iffy, but then when I met Nick and how outgoing he is and like down to earth, you could really relate because he's been to that lowest point and just clicked like that.
So, I mean, through this time, how was the pain? By the time you started seeing Nick, how was the pain side of things? And how was the swelling and all of that?
The pain and everything was the same, but he helped me through it, like my way of thinking. So yeah, so I was still going through the pain every day, but seeing him kind of broke up my days and kind of kept my mental health above like its lowest. So we just kept chipping away, and yeah, when I started to get me flare up sorted, then I really started to get back up on top of it. So yeah.
I think it's, we sit here now talking, and you only had your line, what's it called? The PIC line for the chemo out of your arm 2 days ago. Yesterday. So it's actually quite fresh. A lot of this, like people are probably going to watch this and go, oh wow, like where you're at, and oh, but the pain's gone away. So naturally, but it was actually quite the opposite. Your mental health was improving, and then you were told in March this year you had cancer. Yeah. So it was actually, I mean, people think, oh, physically I'll get better, so mentally I'll be better. It was actually the opposite to you. You got mentally well, but physically your body wasn't going well.
Following.
Yeah, it wasn't following.
Yeah.
So, I mean, before we dive into that and what that was like for you, what was some main takeaways in the first sort of 6 to 12 weeks with Nick that you sort of went and practiced straight away? So things that people out there can watch and go, oh, okay, I can do that.
The first few sessions, he just listened into like the way I was thinking and talking, and he really caught on to like some red alarms or whatever you call it, red flags, and he just gave me the tools to use and stuff like that. So I just really worked on that when I got home because obviously I couldn't work. So when I was laying on the couch in pain, I really tried to focus on the way I was thinking and not being so negative, going, oh shit, and feeling sorry for myself. More just like, it is what it is, just got to move forward and yeah, start to really use the tools he gave me and yeah, put it into act.
A lot of these tools, I know, having spoken to you over the last few weeks, you do them very naturally now. You probably can't even recall what some of them are, but do you recall one or two that might still stick out that if you have a bad day here or there, you can go, oh, come on, Zack, this is what you're going to be doing today.
Yeah, I can't really remember the exact tool, but I can pick myself, like the way I'm thinking, I like kind of go back, that's not the way to think, and then really pull myself back from that negative thinking. So I can really just click onto it and then just pull myself back and then redo what I'm about to do. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, so I'll explain it in Nick terms, I guess. So that's like a mental rep. So you've caught you. So what we try and teach here is you catch yourself when you go into this So when the train's left the station, you're going into this negative thought process of I don't want to wake up or whatever it might be. You catch it, you pull it back in, you have a laugh at the irrationality of it, rewind it, so you put it back in, and then you change that thought. And I mean, as you would know, and I'm sure you'll agree with this, it doesn't just happen the next day. It takes many mental reps, just like going to the gym or riding a bike or driving a car. You don't just hop in your car and just drive, just reverse parallel. Like it takes practice over time.
Yeah.
So, and by the sounds of it, you're still practicing that.
Yeah. With what I've gone through this year, I don't know if last year kind of gave me the tools for this year, what was my faith kind of thing. So it really set me up to get through what I've just gone through. So yeah, because your mental health is major to get through cancer or that kind of illness, because if you're thinking negative, just the results are going to be negative, I believe. So yeah.
Well, it doesn't help. And I did hear a story probably about 4 months ago. Nick might have even mentioned on the Blokes podcast online. And someone got told they had 2 months to live with cancer, and they died 2 months later, and they did the autopsy and they didn't have cancer in their body. But they basically shut their own body down over time. And I don't know how true it is or not, but that's what I haven't found the article myself. But I think it's so true when you have this positive mental aptitude. It allows you to get through more. It doesn't say you will necessarily definitely get through all of it, but it helps. It has to help. It can't not. So
Yeah.
I want to let's sort of paint a picture. You're probably 6 months into your program with Nick.
I did a 12-month program with Nick.
So
I just finished it.
You just finished it?
Yeah, because I went through treatment. I was in and out of hospital, so I couldn't finish that last session with him.
Yeah.
So we kind of just kept in contact by messaging, and just kind of just checked in on each other. And then he just said, "Come in whenever you're strong enough."
Yeah.
So I was at a very weak point. So
when you were diagnosed with cancer, what point were you at in the program, man? Were you about 8 months in?
Yeah, probably
about 8 months in. So you've done a fair bit of work before that diagnosis. So how was the diagnosis? Because I mean, as soon as you hear that word, and we spoke. I guess I'll paint the picture. We spoke about this the other week. You had a lump on your leg, which you just thought was your ankylosing spondylitis.
Yeah.
That's completely the way around. So you didn't think anything of it, and then your beautiful girlfriend said, "No, when you get that checked." So you thankfully listened to it.
Yeah.
And they did what happens when they don't like what they look, and they basically rush you through the system.
Yeah.
And what was it like? You've done a lot of work on your mental health, but anyone that hears that C word, it's worse than a swear word.
Yeah.
It rocks you. I mean, how were you? I mean, you're as well equipped as you would be, but how do you think you took it, and how do you think you would have taken it in the past?
Probably in the past, I would have gone down maybe drinking and drug abuse, probably like just negative thinking, why me kind of thing, which is like for people that haven't been trained mentally is probably a normal thing, kind of thing. That's what natural people do if they don't have the tools that are given, because in high school and primary school, you don't give mental health tools from teachers or whatever. So yeah, that's the path I probably would have taken. But I don't know, I've never been a quitter before in my life or anything. So when I took the diagnosis, like all my family was just heartbroken, upset, but I wasn't upset. It was weird. Probably sound a bit crazy. But yeah, when I took it, I just thought, right, back on the horse. This is just another like hurdle in my path that I just need to accomplish and just get through it. So yeah.
So it sounds like in the past, before you did this mental health work on yourself, and this isn't, and Nick would be very open and honest about this. Nick didn't make you that way. You did the work yourself. You did the mental health work yourself. You put yourself in that position to say, the doctor to say, horrifying news, and you instinctively, instead of drinking or drug abuse, you went and said, I've got this.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Nick's always said you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it.
Yeah.
So he always gave me the tools, but he said you've got to practice it, and it's how good you want your mental health, how much you put into it is the result you get. So I just straight away when I got the result, straight into my saunas, yoga, breathing. I did everything possible that I can naturally do in my power to get the best result and to get on top of it and not be that percentage of 40% of living. Like,
Yeah.
I was never going to be that. So, like, I'm not a robot. So I always looked outside the box, and I've always done my naturopath for my autoimmune disease, but I also brought in a Chinese doctor. So I've been seeing him since March as well. So I was doing treatment and that, just used the both and Nick. So I had all these, like a big team as
Real
well.
holistic type approach.
Yeah.
And it's not just cancer anymore, it's your life.
Yeah, I'll be following through that for the rest of my life. Like, just because of an illness, you shouldn't just fix it and then it's over. You should always maintain your mental health, physical health constantly. Like, it's about prevention. It's not about, all right, when there's a problem, let's fix it. Keep on top of it. And that's how I've always thought. And that's how I'll continue to live.
So, I'll be honest, when you said you're 25, I was like, can't be, because the amount of wisdom you have through this, and no one can ever say how they will react when they get this diagnosis. We don't know until it's hit us or hit a family member. But like, I think the thing that's gravitated me towards you and why I've loved our conversation in the last couple of weeks is something that you're now really passionate about. You're now wanting to use this experience to help others, which I think, going through something like this it can be very traumatic.
Yeah.
So some people just want to forget it. You're going the other way. So I guess we'll probably leave a lot of, the cancer battle to another video.
Yeah.
So we'll probably get that up in a couple of weeks. But what has this done for you going forward, and where do you see yourself going forward?
Well, what's happened, I really, as you said, I want to help people, whether it's in this clinic or I've started doing a course where at Peter Mac in the city, they give you a funding to start a course. So I've really looked at my life, like what were the problems that caused the illness or what was going on. So stress is a big thing, and I ran my own business as a carpenter, and you just got to eliminate the stresses. So I thought I might start the mental health course, a diploma of it. So I've got that rolling, and yeah, I've just opened up to many things now, not just with the mind fit, like even starting doing yoga myself and just trying to be the best version of myself now, because your health is so important. And I've realised that at a very young age, and I'm grateful. I'm not angry I got the illness. Like, I'm honest with that. Like, well, it's hard to say grateful. It's been very hard, and the stuff I've put my family through, but I wouldn't be the person I am now if it wasn't for my journey.
Yeah, you said it the other week. You said to me, I'm glad I got this in my mid-20s rather than my 40s and 50s, because you now can practice what you've had to do over the last 2 years and help other people and share that and inspire others. And I think that's magnificent, because, a lot of people, and I'm sure there's moments where you probably go the other way, and I can only imagine a lot of people at 25 would be like, why me? Oh, my fucking footy career's down the drain, cricket, all of that. And there's probably been moments like that. Yeah. But I think it's like so inspiring that you've found this other path. I mean, and I guess I'll ask a question. How hard has that been to differentiate the fact that some things are gone, but it's a massive opportunity for you here?
Yeah. It's always hard getting told that, like, you could lose your leg, so you always think, oh, fuck, what about my footy career? But then with going through with Nick and stuff, it's not, you can always work around it. Like, if I can't play footy, maybe I can coach. So it's changed my mindset. Instead of going, oh, fuck, I can't play footy and play 200 games as seniors, you can always be involved. I just learned to switch that thinking. And as long as I've got good health and my family's got good health and friends. That's what I've learned. What matters most, the little things. That's the way my thought patterns thought about all that.
I love it, and I love it that you are so instinctive in the way you respond to this, to what's happening around you. You know, it's, I actually laughed about this, and I didn't mean it in a really judgmental way to the world, but so many people in the last 6 months have been in absolute misery because they can't leave the house. And you've been battling cancer, a couple of rounds of chemo, an operation, pardon me, an operation on your leg. You have someone else's shin bone in your leg.
Yeah, and remove my backbone and regenerate it.
Yeah. So I kind of, it gave me a lot of perspective because I'd spoken to you a month ago or something, and it gave me a really good perspective because I started feeling a bit of a lull, and I was like, hang on a minute. Like, I'm pretty grateful for my situation. If you can be grateful for yours, I think I can be grateful for mine. And it just gave me that modest perspective. And it's not for me. I'm not here to say that I'm better off than him or worse off. That's not what we're trying to do. It's like we all have shit. We just need to, find a way to be grateful for it. Find a way to reframe what's happening. And I think you've been a really, really great example of how you've reframed a lot of these stuff in your life. And I think about, and I think you might be from this area, but Bo Vernon, who became a paraplegic on the footy field. And he went through, I've watched a few of his videos, and he went through a similar thing where he was, why me? And he's become one of the best coaches in Phillip Island. He might be from Phillip Island way out there. He's become one of the best coaches in the wheelchair. And so I think you're a great ambassador for, looking after yourself in general. And I think we'll wrap it up unless there's something you want to add to the video today.
No, I'm just glad I kind of touched you in that way. Like, it changed your mind thinking of like there's always someone worse off, like.
Yeah, and it's not to compound and make me feel worse. I remember I used to think, oh, this kids in Africa who don't get food, and that made me feel worse. Whereas it's not about that. It's like, we're all going through challenges, and these challenges, it's not the challenge, it's the way you react to the challenge, which inspired me. And I hope anyone that's watching is inspired too. I'm grateful to be sitting next to someone with an autoimmune disease. Who's gone through cancer already. I interviewed my cousin who had cancer when she was younger than that. She was, just started primary school, and that was inspiring as well. Like, it really is inspiring because you need to have that really positive mindset most of the time. It's not all the time. Sometimes you wake up and feel shit, but it's also respecting that. So I want to thank Zack for coming in. We will cut that video off today there, because if anyone does watch this and have any questions, we'd love you to send them through, and I'll get Zack to answer those questions specifically, because there's plenty more to the story. I've got plenty of questions, but I also know some of the answers to them. So if there is any questions, please send them through to admin@mindfit.com.au, and we'll get Zack back on in a couple of weeks, and probably as a frequent guest over the next year or so, and maybe well into the future. So thanks for watching, and thanks for joining me.